The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, says it will seek government approval to conduct drug tests on tertiary institutions, new students, security agencies, fresh recruits, and appointees. Brigadier General Buba Marwa, retired chairman of the agency, said this during a meeting with commanders of the 36 states, FCT, and special commands yesterday, Monday, in Abuja. Marwa said he would soon propose to the government the necessity for drug tests for all tertiary institutions resuming students. He added that the test would also be conducted for National Youth Service Corps members, new workers, all security agencies, new recruits, and random tests for government appointees. In his words, NDLEA is ready to help and we must help. The success we make of this particular task goes a long way to determine the socio-economic stability of the nation. We need not be told of the nexus between drug use, crime, and criminalities. The exponential growth of the nefarious drug activities can be directly linked to the upsurge in crimes such as insurgency, terrorism, kidnapping, cultism, political thuggery, gangsterism, rape, and other maladaptation bedeviling today's Nigeria. Also, in his words, ours is a national assignment. Drug has littered everywhere, every community. We will lead the fight and we will succeed. Make no mistake about it. It is a collective effort. We will equally devote a lot of efforts to prevention, treatment, and aftercare, and focus on family and parenting, community, school systems, advocacy to all groups. This will be through traditional institutions, religious bodies, media, NGOs, CSOs, state and local governments, among others. We will rehabilitate our rehab centers, make them functional, while more will be built. Marwa warned the unbending drug crime perpetrators, saying it was high time they embraced another trade as their game is up. End of quote. All right, gentlemen. So drug tests, for students, security agencies, government appointees.
Let me start by saying that right now, with what the DG of the NDLEA has said, I don't seem to understand what NDLEA has been set up for anymore. I'm totally confused. Because you can't be talking about carrying out drug tests without having a schedule of different drugs. We need to know the kind of drugs you're going to test people on and test for. You can't just run a random test of
I'm guessing hard drugs, isn't it?
No, I'm coming to that. We need to understand, first of all, what are the drugs in Nigeria that we consider to be hard drugs, or we consider to be banned drugs? We're talking of cocaine, we're talking of heroin, we're talking of tramadol, we're talking of codeine. Refinol. Now this
Indian hemp.
I'm coming.
It's prohibited too. So.
These are the ones we know. But the question is, we should ask ourselves. We should be sincere with ourselves when we talk about drug abuse in Nigeria. Cocaine, heroin. How many students, ordinary Nigerians, can afford those drugs? The ones we know that students go for are Indian hemp,
tramadol, those ones, Refinol, yeah.
Now, and we know that there has been a ban on it. But the question is, how do they get into the country? How do they get in? So the first thing NDLEA should do is to say, we're going to take every step to stop these drugs from entering into the country. 2, we're going to do a schedule of these drugs. 3, we're going to work with the doctors. Because now, if you want something like codeine, you need to get a prescription. So if a hard drug is prescribed, maybe for pain, for stomach upset, for whatever, and you test the person, how would you categorize that that person is using it for health reasons? Because some of these drugs are also used for health reasons. So they need to do more groundwork. It's one thing to come out and tell us you want to run a general test, but you must also do it in such a way that it is not seen as being victimizing people or infringing on the rights of the people. Now, talking about rehab centers, rehab homes, We've been hearing about it, but I haven't seen any that is functional. And I think that what he should be looking at is forming a relationship with NGOs that are into advocacy for hard drugs.
But he did mention NGOs and CSOs.
No, it's one, like I keep saying, it's one thing to mention, it's another thing to implement. Implementation is a big problem in this country. So he has good ideas and all of, but I think it's at the end of the day, which government appointee are you going to test? At what point are you going to test that government
minister
for drugs?
Are you going to test the minister?
To the government.
Are you going to test the governor?
You cannot.
So we need to know who and who. You're talking of testing policemen.
Even the university students, is it at the point of entry into the schools?
So a lot needs to be done, and I think that he should sit down and articulate what he really wants, and calm down with press releases.
Okay, all right, Dr. Maduka.
Look, sometimes I said we have a misplaced priority in governance. Because as of now, I don't think Nigerians are talking about drugs as of now. There's a lot more than drugs. Yes, it's good to talk about drugs, but the issue that where's the foundation of the inlet of the drugs? It's still the producers, still the airlines. They are the ones that bring the containers of all these drugs you're talking about, and they pass through the sea. They pass through. So the issue that as of now, I think every Nigeria is almost a drug addict. Let me just put it down. Who is saying here? Who is saying in this country? You're moving out, you're looking out, everybody's tense. If you push somebody, he will fight you. So sometimes there's even what you call psychological madness or induced madness. Security-wise, the users are being induced, everybody. So I think what the government did now to do is, what is the social plan to engage youth? That's the first thing. Why are people going into drug as of now? Sometimes idleness. There's no social welfare for the people or for the youth. ASU has been on strike for how many months now? These are the things that cause these things.
Course.
You look at the cause. The remedy is not by telling all the drug or this. No. Secondly, I didn't expect somebody like him, who is a military officer, to come and open. There are things you don't say open. If you want to do practical approach your policy, there are things you don't say. You go deep. First of all, have you consulted the universities? Now he excluded the military. He didn't put the military. He put only few people. So the issue that there are things you don't need to come out open, because people will look at it from a holistic angle and now know where you have a problem. He just came in. I thought what he would have done is to sit down, have a total appraisal of what NDLEA mean and what they want to, and then underground. It's just like you want to fight Boko Haram, you tell them I'm coming. For instance, if you say you're going to test students and they are well, drug lasts just a month in your system.
Long?
Yeah, it's just 1 month in the system. So when the student is going back to school, he could decide to stay.
You just stay clean.
Off the 1 month and go for the test, and then start. There are things you don't say that should be implied, and you catch them, and then it will be now what people will now say by themselves, not you saying it. So I think we have a problem in this country.
But then, do we need to do something urgently about drug use in Nigeria? Definitely.
What I said, the foundation, I think, first of all, where is the inlet? Where is the inlet? Because one, a poor man who is looking for food to eat will not go for drug. The people that are involved in that drug is what we call barons. And these barons are part of the system, and they are allies. And they know them. First of all, you see, when they want to fight the Mexico war, drug war, they didn't fight from the grassroots. They fight from the barons.
The barons.
These are the people you look for. When you get them and jail any of them, how many drug barons have we jailed in this country? And now, you see, the people that I'm sorry for, that are going to be culprits are poor people. Poor people that are just going on their way, sometimes they will kill. And you don't forget nowadays that even a trick which I'm going to tell you, please, when police stop you, be vigilant. Because I learned that sometimes now there's a lot of things happening. They can plant anything. Please be very vigilant. And they will not say you're a drug, and you don't know what about the drug is. So the major thing is, let's get to the root. What is the causes? The causes one people are idle. The causes is that attention is everywhere in the country. So this is even a drug like, okay, now where do you put these young boys that now go to use cockroach shit to smoke?
No, it's true. They use gum.
They use gum.
Inhale gum.
They inhale even shit. Human feces.
So-
They inhale it. So how do you clarify those kind of drugs? So you see, the issue is that once the system is normal, I think it will take itself and things will be better. But as of now, I'm telling you, everybody is almost like a drug person. Because we are not
psychotic.
We are psychotic.
Yes.
But every small thing now, you see person flare up, and you can fight because of 10 naira. So the system must be put in place.
Yeah.
The governance system must be overhauled.
Thank you, Dr. Maduka. Let's hear from you, Mr.
The thing
Iskama.
is this, Doc. If a man can keep away from drugs for a whole month because he knows there will be a test, he's not a drug addict.
Yeah.
So those are not the people he's after. A drug addict has no control over his drug consumption. So that's the thing. The thing about testing, it's all wonderful. If it's not just a media hype, he was addressing the media or some kind of audience and said it. So if it's not all about grandstanding, there's really a need to test people for drugs. When I was growing up, we didn't smoke marijuana, Indian hemp, as students, as responsible kids. Yeah, we thought it was for thugs, goons, and gangsters. Those that armed robbers,
School dropouts.
School, yeah, okay. That's what it was. When I went overseas, however, I was surprised to note that most guys on campus smoked marijuana. I was in a class with a guy in the evening. He would call me, come, let's study. I'll come to his room, he'll bring beer, he'll bring marijuana. We'll be smoking marijuana and drinking beer. He will call his girlfriend and be quoting big words from our textbook. I'm reading, I'm studying Socrates, the trial of Socrates. But so I did it once, twice, by the third day I said, no, I'm not coming back. I needed to go really study.
Well, Mr. Iskama, did you also test from you did? Oh, okay.
I've tested marijuana, but I don't smoke marijuana. So I realized that on campus, everyone was smoking marijuana. So the question was this: why is it that those that smoked marijuana in Nigeria were criminals or semi-criminals or acted insane, but in the US they did not? One thing was that the marijuana in the US is not as potent, one. Secondly, there's this societal discipline that Americans have that we do not have. So we want to be like the Americans, but we lack the foundation.
Sure, yeah.
Okay? Abuja was copied to be like Washington, D.C., I was told. Our constitution was modeled after the American Constitution. But when Mrs. Clinton came and started talking about responsibility, discipline, commitment to work, telling the political elite, they got angry. You want to be like the Americans, but you don't want to uphold the responsibilities of public service that the Americans uphold. Coming back home then, in the 80s and 90s, when Nigeria became transit point for drugs, it moved from marijuana to cocaine and heroin. Those can be expensive, but there are always variations of them. If you cook them with soda...
Too much information. Just go ahead.
Yes,
it's fine.
There are cheaper variations. So those permeated the society. So it's not only marijuana anymore. There are different kinds of cheap drugs and sniffing of whatever. You walk the streets, you see young men asking for money. And looking into their eyes, you can tell they're not really hungry. They need
a quick fix.
Simple. So there's a need to test for all these things in the Nigeria is not going to be fixed today. So when we talk about let everything be fixed and everything will fall in place, that is not coming anytime soon. So let every man do the best that he can do at his own level. So you need to test university students, test
security agents,
test the
government
police
appointees.
especially. The way they shoot and kill innocent people for nothing.
Actually, it's serious.
Yes.
What he's talking about.
So it gets to show that they are under the influence of something, be it alcohol, be it drug, be it crack, be it whatever. So I think it's a wonderful proposal. When we talk about infringing on people's right, we have to sometimes forget about people's right. Earlier German political philosophy and jurisprudence placed more emphasis on order than justice.
Yes,
Okay? Martin Luther King Jr. was writing, he talked about not the kind of not about extremism, the kind of extremist we are. This guy, Barry Goldwater, said extremism in defense of liberty is no vice. So extremism in ridding the society of drug abuse is no vice. Even if you trample, sometimes infringe on human rights and trample on human rights, get the job done. This society needs to move forward. This society needs to be rid of drug addiction, lawlessness, and the psychosis that pervade it.
Okay,
Just to chip this in, I mean, going around Lagos, have you noticed, as I have, that we have more mentally derailed people roaming the streets now?
Yeah.
There was a time we weren't seeing them anymore, but now they are back on the roads, and like the numbers are increasing. It's all about what we're talking about. So like you rightly said, something needs to be done and timely. To go ahead, Mr.
No,
Stiller.
yes, something needs to be done and timely. But you see, we must, like Dr. Magoka and I have said, where is it? The root cause. You see, where is, you know, the Igbos have a proverb that when a child is pointing somewhere, if the mother is not there, the father is there. The point with drug in this country today, the point where we've gotten to where drug has become more like something you can just pick anyhow, is because the political elite are taking advantage of the system. These drugs are brought in by people who have the money. They have a way of also beating the customs to bring it in. So first of all, you need to go after those people. When you go after them and you begin to arrest them, stop that business, a lot of things will fall into place. But so long as, you know, these things are allowed to come in freely, you cannot do much. That's the point. I don't know how frequently you go to bus stops. You'll find out that these women who sell all sorts of agbo drinks and all of that,
They also sell.
why are
they
they
sell
not being
hemp.
stopped?
They sell hemp too. Some of
Yes, why are they not being
What's
stopped?
wrong with selling ambo?
them. Herbs.
All those
Herbal
herbs are there.
concoctions.
And bus
What's
stops.
wrong with it?
No. You need to go and ask them what they sell. Go and find out what they sell.
What you see in the front.
There are some places in Festac, when you go there,
I think the whole herbs thing has become something else.
It's something
It's
else.
no longer about you getting herbs to cure malaria or typhoid. It's more on sexual performance enhancement.
Aphrodisiacs.
And you know, it is aphrodisiacs. Thank you. And it's quite worrisome. The other day I was actually thinking about it, that I don't know the kind of generation of Nigerian youths, you know, we are raising, a generation where a young man or in his early 20s cannot, I use that word lightly, perform without some sort of, you know, enhancement.
Whose business?
It is a
Personal
concern for the society. It is.
it is part of the drug issue.
It is a concern, Mr.
It is part
Zukama.
of the drug issue.
I mean,
It is.
since when did it become a must that you must be under the influence of something before you can, you know, just be a human being? It is worrisome.
It is.
Quite worrisome. Walk on the streets of Lagos. What worries me more about this whole drug thing is the brazenness, you know, of these people in doing it. When I was growing up, you don't smoke Igbo in public.
You hide.
You go and hide in uncompleted buildings or something, you know,
No.
away from where people will see you.
Patience,
But
yesterday,
now, they,
Yes, cigarettes.
everywhere.
Patience, I took a walk somewhere around Amuward of yesterday. This was around 4 p.m. I just decided to take a walk. I got scared. You see batches, and you see young boys, 12, 10, 15, smoking Indian hemp, drinking all
Recklessly.
this sachet whiskey,
drinks.
you know, hot drinks and all of that. And then when you pass, you know, they look at you as, who is this one? You dare not talk to
But
them.
where are their parents? It's an issue of parenting.
The thing has pervaded into primary school right now. and which is the worst scenario.
It's
Because
worrisome.
If from primary school one start like, they can imagine how that one is going to end. Even in the bus stops now, you know, you see, most of the things they sell right now, they call it abo, whatever you call it. Some of them are mixed, and those conductor and driver, they know. They will tell you to give them this one. In Warri, there's one they call monkey tail. Monkey tail. Monkey tail is sold open, but what is
the content?
The content is a book mixed. But nobody talks about. So I think there's need for us to start sensitizing. Maybe NDLEA should do more of sensitization right now, so that people can understand the impact of drug abuse. It's going to affect them even now.
And it's killing our youth.
It's killing our youth. And then if
it's killing our youth.
I think it will help. The National Orientation Agency, they need to do that. They need to brace them now, right now, because
and parents need to do
and the parents too. We need to really. There's a lot of problems right now.
It's not only
even the children you're with. You can't swear for them right now.
Vouch.
vouch. No, but you see,
even high on drugs,
you won't know.
And you come home. Can the mother tell?
You can't.
A lot of times, see, I found out
the mother can.
you should accept if it has gotten to that extreme level where seeing the child, that's the first thing you notice. These kids are clever as well, and it will take a parent who have also walked that path to get those signs. You get what I mean?
Parents are careless. I have a friend who smokes marijuana, and he was talking one day. I mentioned his mother, and I asked him, does your mother know that you smoke marijuana? This was way back. He said, yes. You can hide smoking marijuana from everybody, but not from your mother. Any day you smoke marijuana, you must change. Because your mother knows you totally, completely well, she must notice that.
How many parents are really looking out? How many parents are looking out?
It's not easy now because every mother, most of us are working.
Everybody's busy.
Right. Some of them come back and the time they come back is late.
The child is already asleep.
So it's not easy for you. If the time you're talking about, that time the mother is at home, you are coming in. I used to use my mother as an example. I said it here. I was being hell because I picked a Bible that was on the. My mom asked me when I said I picked up the gate. Say, why did you return it back to the teacher? I didn't know teachers there. I said no. I wanted to return it tomorrow. Say no, tomorrow. And I got the beating. The mark is still at my back. So as at that time, the parents and mothers, especially the mothers, are very, very keen. They are watching everything.
And they are available.
Available. Even sometimes when you get wound, those days, you try to hide.
To hide, yeah. Because you will explain how you got that wound.
Come. The way you're walking, what happened?
No, but it's true. Over the weekend, I was with my son. I didn't know he had a wound at the back. So when I did it, I said, come.
And then
I said, what is wrong with you?
They always hide this thing.
He said, nothing. I said, no, come, pull your shirt. What happened to you? He said he was playing with his younger brother and they pushed him. So I said, why didn't you want to show me? He said, Daddy. So a lot of parents, what we have today is absent parenting. Okay. It is sad, it is painful.
But it is our reality.
And that is where, the problem we have is there is total moral decadence.
Okay, so I think somehow everybody at the table agrees that something needs to be done to check, drug abuse, especially in the Nigerian society. Whatever NDLEA or any other governmental institution needs to do, I think I'm all for it, okay? Even people, as we are registering for NIN, be testing us for drugs. Test us everywhere. You come, you want to get married, test. Like, I'm serious. Test people everywhere.
That of marriage.
Maybe people will become more responsible. I'm serious.
We need to develop something.
Let's do something.
Not only testing, psychological evaluation of couples before they get married.
Let's do these things. Not just be saying it and put it in the paper. Let's implement it. Test everybody. Test us everywhere. No problem. It's fine.